ask you a question and then we'll respond and walk through the answer that I believe you're going to give me. So Mike, if I say something that I believe is funny, what is it? I'm looking for a 5-letter word. What is it that you are likely to do if I say something that is funny?
Probably going to laugh, maybe.
Laugh. Very good. This man is good.
Hey, it's Conor Cunneen, IrishmanSpeaks, providing you with some more simple tips, tricks and techniques on adding humour, adding relevant humour to your presentation. And I'm doing that while out walking the land. I really enjoy doing podcasts and chatting to the podcast hosts about this topic of adding humour to your presentation. One of my core concepts is that you can add humour to your presentation by adopting the LAUGH acronym. That's right, LAUGH, L-A-U-G-H. In the following clips, you will see how I propose that the L in the LAUGH acronym, which stands for listen, can provide really powerful, humorous material to add to your business presentation or sales call in a relevant manner. Enjoy.
So if you're doing a presentation to a group, what I suggest to people is that make your serious point. One of the ways to reinforce it is then by putting a little bit of humor related to that serious point, and then even follow up for them by saying, by the way, that humor, as you can appreciate, is reinforcing the key point I made, that you've got to be able to work with your team to be able to build a great organization, things like that.
Sounds good. So now that we've made that, I think, important distinction between humor and comedy, what are some additional techniques you can use or that our listeners can use to create and deliver relevant humor within their presentations?
Right. Best way I can answer that, Mike, I'll ask you a question and then we'll respond and walk through the answer that I believe you're going to give me. So Mike, if I say something that I believe is funny, what is it? I'm looking for a 5-letter word. What is it that you are likely to do if I say something that is funny?
Probably going to laugh, maybe.
Laugh. Very good. This man is good. This man is good. Okay. Laugh is actually one of the acronyms I use to get across my humor toolkit. And LAUGH is an acronym for 5 concepts that you adopt and adapt will help you to consistently add the relevant humor to your presentation. So we can go briefly through it. In the LAUGH acronym, L is about listen and capture. And Mike, researchers suggest that adults laugh about 15 to 20 times a day. The average adult laughs about 15 to 20 times a day. Now, I know that your listeners are more above average, so they're laughing more than 15 to 20 times a day, okay?
They are, yep.
But what is interesting, though, is that we don't really remember what we laughed about or what we smiled about. And maybe, now, I'm not talking about, when I'm talking about laugh here, I'm talking about just a chuckle or a smile, that it gets the endorphins going in the brain a little bit. But we do that maybe 15, 20 times a day. We don't pay attention to it. But if you consider what made you laugh over the last week, the things that probably made you laugh and others around you, most was not jokes. It was anecdotes, stories, quips, comments, etc. that you made or that you heard. And what I'm suggesting to my listeners and to my people when I'm there in my audience and I'm presenting is that listen to what you said to put a smile on. Listen and record what made you smile when someone else said it, put it into your iPhone and record it. And over a period of time, what you do is you develop a bank of humorous little anecdotes, quips, or comments that sometime, somewhere, maybe you might be able to use. But the fact is that if you don't record them and if you don't listen initially, there's no chance of you remembering it. So we live in an environment where we do smile a reasonable amount of time or laugh a reasonable amount of time. Capture those instances and it will help you to add humor to your presentation. So that's the first element of the LAUGH acronym.
Humor is a vehicle to help you to connect better with people. And as I say, I am not talking comedy. I'm just talking about putting a smile on people's face, make them chuckle once or twice in a sales pitch or in a business presentation. And it will help you to
connect better and get your message across better.
Okay, so we're not saying you need to be a stand-up comedian to do this. We're just saying, add some lighthearted moments or stories perhaps in a presentation. So given that, can you talk us through, what makes a good presentation? Have you seen a example where, a joke or a little story has turned that presentation around, has turned the tone around and gotten it to a different outcome?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I try to do all of the time, but I'll give you a couple of specific examples. When I do a program on adding humor to your presentation, I talk about a concept. Well, I'll ask you the question and we see if we can get the right answer. I'm looking for a one-word answer, Emily. And the question is, if I say something funny, what is it that I expect that you will do?
Laugh? Smile?
Very good. Yay. All right. That was not pre-prompted, listeners of yours. Laugh. Laugh is a 5-letter acronym, and it provides 5 concepts that will help people to add humor to their presentation. And the first element of that laugh concept is listen to the humor that is around you. Listen to the humor that you might have said that made someone else laugh. Record it, capture it, and it will help to make a difference sometime somewhere in one of your presentations. An example of this that I thought was really interesting was I speak a fair amount to healthcare groups, oncology groups. I've had 2 bouts of cancer over the years, so that the silver lining was that it opened doors to healthcare and continuing ed courses for healthcare professionals, etc. And God love healthcare professionals who have to go to continuing ed programs. Mother of divine, they are just incredibly boring most of the time. I remember I was at one, I think it was somewhere down in Arkansas, the mid part of the country anyway. And the nurses who were well used to these continuing ed sessions, they came in, they were at the back of the room with their knitting, okay? But one of the speakers was a neurosurgeon, some kind of a brain surgeon. I have no recollection what his topic was. But this guy was so boring now. We just prayed for a lobotomy, I swear. But there was another doctor who came on, though, who I think had been at some Toastmasters meetings. And he said, I was told that if I want to connect with my audience, I should add a little bit of humor and show a humorous slide. So this doctor puts up a humorous slide, i.e. a slide of the humerus bone.
Oh boy.
And the audience just kind of really smiled and chuckled at it. And he had them from then on kind of thing. So it was just a stupid little slide in one sense, but it was very relevant to what he was trying to do. It was relevant to the profession. And it was a play on words. And he obviously just got the idea that, hey, if I can connect with them early, I'm going to be able to hold them better. So that was just one simple little example that I saw other people do. And what I encourage people to do is to find some simple little examples that puts a smile on your face. And if it puts a smile on your face, quite likely it'll put a smile on your audience's face or on your customer's face or on the client that you're dealing with. Not that you want to have them cracked up laughing like Kevin Hart or Seinfeld or anything like that, but it's a little reinforcement of your key message via humor.
And I love what you said there, because I've heard that if you're giving a presentation, add a joke or something lighthearted in the first third, because it'll signal to the audience, hey, we're going to have some fun. And then if you get them to smile or laugh, I forget what it's called, but there's like this endorphin or pheromone thing that happens where you're connected in a different way. Yeah. And then I love the example because it wasn't, I'm trying to sing and dance and get you to laugh up here like a stand-up comedian. It's literally a slide that you get kind of the, okay, like the humorous bone. I get it.
So we'll do a little bit of role play here, all right? So Keith, I'm looking for one word, and the word is a 5-letter word. So if I say something funny, what do I hope that you will do?
Laugh.
Laugh. Okay, I introduce it to my audience. Laugh, gang, is the acronym, 5 letters,
that if you adopt and implement and work with can help you to add humor to your presentation or to your sales pitch or to your communication. And basically what I say, Keith, is that the first element of laugh is listen. Okay? Right. So if you consider over the last, we'll ask you a question. How many times do you think you would have laughed over the last week?
Maybe 3 times.
I tell you right here now, you are wrong. Because I think you've actually laughed about 4 or 5 times since this conversation started. Laughter researchers suggest that the average human laughs about 15 to 17 times a day. Now,
interesting.
Now, as you're above average, I know you're going to laugh about 25 times a day. All right? Okay, but here's the thing though, and your answer actually just proved the point. We don't remember what made us laugh. And what I suggest to people is that if something made you laugh in the last couple of days, listen to it. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, made me laugh. Or I said something that made someone laugh. Listen to it, write it down, capture it, and sometime, somewhere, you may be able to use that little comment or that anecdote again in the next conversation. So if you're a salesperson, for instance, you're going to make a big presentation last week to a client for X million dollars, and you said something, or they said something that made the room crack up a little bit, which would not be unusual. I mean, it's not just kind of serious, but you could maybe throw a quip out or something that got a comment. Remember that quip. So next time I'm doing my multi-million-dollar presentation next week, is there some way that I can bring that into the conversation? So what I say is, you don't have to be funny to be funny. Just pay attention to this laugh acronym. So listen is the first example, or the first element of the laugh acronym. Excuse me. The second element of the laugh acronym is, well, I'll ask a question again. So let's assume that over the last week you laughed let's say 15 times a day anyway. All right, you don't recall them. But what do you think you laughed most at? Was it jokes that someone told? Or was it quips? Or was it comments? Or was it anecdotes that you laughed most at over the last week?
It's likely comments, if I remember.
Right, okay, it is, yeah. And that's the interesting thing, you see. It's comments and anecdotes that make people laugh. It's jokes we might laugh the heartiest at, but we don't laugh at that many jokes as we don't hear that many jokes unless you're watching late night television or something like that.